Hey guys, Bobby Thompson with Flat Earth and Coffee, back with another video, and in this video we're going to add on 109 additional bloopers to my first edition of Space Bloopers, where I covered my 25 all-time favorite bloopers from space. So without further ado, let's jump right in. And this first blooper comes from an early Gemini EVA. I don't know who the claymation actor is supposed to be, but keep an eye out for the visor, the helmet visor. And that looks like an office setting to me. Looks like you got some office lights, rows of office lights. So if I'm moving too fast, feel free to rewind. For brevity's sake, we have quite a few to make it through. We're just going to keep on moving. This is also by way of the Gemini missions, Gemini 4. This is the first ever EVA. And watch the Earth change directions. Obviously not possible with the way orbits would work. Moving on to astronauts on wires. Blooper number 3. Watch the astronaut on the right, astronaut, N-O-T, grabbing the wire of astronaut number 2. And he looked down. He clearly wasn't happy about that. Watch the flyby in the middle and look at the belt area. You can see the black, I don't know what you'd call that, just a part of the harness that the software should have automatically edited out, that it clearly failed to edit out. And moving on to blooper number 5. Watch the astronaut in the middle, and he's clearly maneuvering his arms around something. On to blooper number 6. We have Don Pettit and Dan Burbank. Check out Dan Burbank fail to do a backflip. I don't know what happened there. He kind of got stuck. He went for it and had to try again. Moving on to blooper number 7, one of my favorites, Tim Peake. And I don't know if his wire malfunctioned.
Practice makes perfect.
And blooper number 8, we have Mark Vandehey, who constantly makes this mistake. Watch his leg and the arm on the left. He's like maneuvering something here, and his leg, he stops, goes back, and then comes forward. I think we replayed this. Well, feel free to rewind. Oh, here it is. Here's the replay. Does not count as another blooper. Still blooper number 8. And this is common. You'll see him make the same mistake in future flips. Again, Mark Vandehey, same mistake. You see him reach for the kind of the wire over there, and the same leg gets hung up. So he's obviously not very good at this. I don't know these actors' names, but this guy, kind of same mistake. Leg on the right gets hung up. And this is Steven Swanson on the right, and look at, he goes to grab the mic and something's in the way. Why would you have to reroute your hand like that if not a wire? And we're on to bubbles in space. And blooper number 13. Did you catch it? Blooper number 14. And watch the visor of the guy right here. If you ask Scott Kelly, these are flecks of paint. So not sure if you caught the fleck of paint moving up the visor. Feel free to rewind if you need to. Here we go, some more paint. Blooper number 16. More paint. Number 17. And you see them pan away really quickly. They caught that, they saw it, and they try to pan away as to hide it. This has got several in it. You just gotta look around. You'll see several of them are highlighted. Not all of them. There's more. And number 19. And number 20, just see it right there. Feel free to rewind if you missed it. 21. And again, feel free to rewind. 22. Right there. 23. Pretty obvious on that one. 24. Right up here. Clearly filming in a neutral buoyancy lab. Blooper number 25. And the ISS is always leaking something. There's always some ruptured, tank. Number 26. And you can see the distortion, right? Like this is what you'd see underwater. If you've, I've seen this effect many times. We don't get this in any other videos. Obviously, something's changed. They perfected the technology. Insects in space. And not sure this actornaut's name, but just watch the flyby. Yeah, if you weren't aware, they have a very bad moth problem on the ISS, an infestation, and they can fly in zero gravity just fine. They're not affected. They're not slowed down in any way. Here we have Paulo Nespoli, and it was up in the upper right corner. Not sure if you caught that. You can see it flying by right in here. All right, moving on. Number 29, Mark Van de Hey again. Goes right across here. Mark sees it but ignores it. Tries to play it off like it's not there. Maybe figures they'll do something with it in editing. And moving on to number 30. Clearly an insect flying around, changing trajectories. This guy gets just attacked by a moth. All right, number 32. And this clip brought many bloopers. You're going to see an insect in the background right here, which I'll zoom in and you'll see it. Fly by the light. So that's number 32 from the same video. It's another flyby in the background. So that brings us to number 33. And again, zoomed in, you clearly see it go by. This is on to number 34 now. Again, in the background, another instance, flyby number 3. And moving on to flyby number 4. was right in this area right here. Feel free to rewind if you need to. And what was impressive about that is they were actually doing cable management for the first time, right? That's absolutely amazing. I can't go backwards here. What's going on? Yeah, I thought I got a kick out of that. This guy's actually doing cable management. So moving on to number 36, we have Chris Hadfield.
Here's our contaminated cleanup kit.
And you, of course, want to protect your eyes. So you put on goggles.
And on to gravity fails. So this is an interesting one. This guy's working with this flag and he lets go of it and it starts falling, which is obviously impossible. This immediately catches his attention, right? Because he knows there's a mistake going on here. So if they're in zero, and they tried to, fade away to another cut, right? But clearly the flag is falling and they're supposed to be floating, but the flag is falling, right? If you can't see that they're lying to you, and they let I don't know if they let these out intentionally. I think they do at this point, right? Because some of these are just too blatant. Here Tim Peake thinks he's wrapping up. They say bye, and then when he thinks the transmission's over, he walks over in zero gravity and puts his prop mic on the wall.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
So he's supposed to be floating, and now he just walks over and sticks his mic on the wall. And now we move on to the water everywhere category, because water, it just doesn't matter that water gets sprayed all over the ISS. They actually pressure wash the interior of the ISS from time to time, for those of you who didn't know that. Let's just count some of the bubbles that get away. Look at 1, that one got away. 2, that one got away. 3, that one got away. I'm assuming they got both of those. There's some big ones got away there, some more there, right? And there's 2 ways they do this. There went one up there, another one up there. I quit counting. Another one down there, some up here. Look at that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where water goes. These electronics and power supplies and navigation systems, and it doesn't matter.
Squirting it onto my scalp. And I have a
And look at this. Water's just going every direction here. Where's it going? Where's it going? It finds its way.
Water gets away from you,
Look at all this water.
and you try and catch as much as you can.
You catch as much as you can, but it really doesn't matter because everything on the ISS is waterproof.
Okay, so here's a soaking wet washcloth. Get the microphone so you can hear me while I'm talking. And now let's
And there's 2 ways they can do this, right? They can either do this using augmented reality, or they do it on a zero-G plane. So you're either on a zero-G plane and you're doing it with actual water, and this is what we'd expect to see if you created a what we'll agree to call a microgravity situation, or this is just augmented reality, which we can easily do with that.
The water's all over my hands. In fact, it rings out of the cloth into my hands.
And where I can, I don't know if you noticed at the top, but when I found the original sources, I gave credit
Okay, so
and showed where that source was coming from as well.
The answer to the question is the water squeezes out of the cloth, and then because
And it doesn't matter how much of these get away because nothing, water doesn't affect anything on the space station. Look at that, just fling it off. And here we have Steven Swanson. I don't know if you caught it, the little, all the water go flipping right there. But play it back. He doesn't know what this is called. He's not sure if it's called the portable water dispensable or the potable water dispenser, right? So He has no idea. It's apparently it's a portable unit. You just take it wherever you want, and it's dispensable. So here we have Chris Hadfield running number 44.
So we have a big ball.
Who cares about that?
And you put it on your hand. And now I've got water floating around on my hand. And so I wash my hands up with that. And then grab a towel.
More Chris Hadfield.
So, just as if I started crying, my eye is full of tears. But you can see it just forms a ball on my eye. In fact, I can put more water in. And so if you keep crying, you just end up with a bigger and bigger.
Here we have Sultan Al Nayadi. And here we have several actors. We have Stephen Swanson again, Reed Wiseman, and Alexander Gerst. And you can see bubbles floating that way and some over there. And this is the science they do on the ISS. Like water everywhere, big old bubbles, huge. It doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter. You know, they've got laptops in there, life support systems. But they just take big blobs of water and burst them and watch the water go everywhere. And that was Michael Fink. More Chris Hadfield.
That's some on the outside.
Yeah, a little bit. Won't hurt anything, don't worry. And here we have Luca Parmitano. Just slinging water everywhere.
And that's it.
Tim Peake putting Alka-Seltzer in water, just sending droplets in every direction, and then it just turns into a water bomb. It's just ejecting water in every direction. Look, it's just rocketing out. And look at you have these regular laptops, right? All this equipment, they just don't care. They don't care where the water goes because it's not real. We're on to number 52. Again, more science, right? Because this is what they get paid to do up there. I don't know who this lady is. See all the water she's slinging. It's okay. Won't hurt anything. Number 54. David St. Jacques.
Wet all over your hand. Let's see if we can put a bubble of air inside the bubble of water. Voilà. One thing that's pretty odd is how water behaves inside containers. Let's just fill this bag with water. Water doesn't escape because it sticks to the bag. And you shake it. Sometimes when you're lucky, you get bubbles.
And this is from Skylab footage, which is all over. You know, Periscope Film is who owns all the Skylab footage. And this guy has a spray nozzle. He just sprays water on him, right? Not in a sealed room, or he just sprays it on him. More Skylab footage. They just shower openly.
We got to get some water from somewhere. We use this device right here. It's not unlike a squirter that you have on your family sink. Matter of fact, this nozzle design was taken from a family sink squirter.
That's the way the science works. Look.
The water comes out.
he's spraying him right now.
Okay.
He's just spraying
How
him
about
down.
the soap, Jack?
And they
You
took
see
the
that?
design from a kitchen
Okay,
sink,
here's
is what he
the
said.
soap.
That's
Special.
where, so that's the direction
Don't clog up the filter.
science flows,
Catch
right?
every bit of the water, put it
From
back
the
in a
home to
bag,
NASA.
Throw it out the spacecraft down inside.
Space hair. Here we go. This is what hair should look like. Hair in a zero-G environment. Just flowing hair. If they move the hair follows. And here we have Katie Coleman. And this is how hair reacts. It's not stuck out like the Bride of Frankenstein, right? It doesn't stick straight out on the top in every direction. And here again, Katie Coleman, very natural looking hair. They're flying around, no problem. The hair is not sticking straight out like the Bride of Frankenstein. But now when they're in space, they have to do this, right? The hair is like a helmet. It sticks out in every direction and it turns with the head. It doesn't follow. You don't turn the head and then the hair kind of, the movement's transferred all the way to the end of the hair. But here we are, parabolic flight. This lady's hair looks very normal, even though she's floating. But here we have Sunita Williams, and the hair is just stuck out in every direction. Not what we see on parabolic flights.
Can you just reassure us, that you really are in the space station and not suspended by hidden wires in a closet someplace? Maybe your hair alone kind of gives it away.
Look how it pops back. When she runs her hair through it, her hands through it, it just goes doink, it sticks right back up.
I guarantee we're up in space. I don't think, I'm not a gymnast, so in normal life, I don't think I could do this.
Not a gymnast, because it takes a gymnast to do that, right? Like if you were on wires, you'd have to be a gymnast. And this is just to show again, there's a girl, one or two females in this, and you see their hair laying very naturally here. This is what we'll agree to call a zero-G environment. But look at this lady's hair. It's laying normally. And another, look at this lady's hair, right? It doesn't stick out in every direction. And it doesn't snap back when you run your hand through it. But every female on the ISS, their hair is stuck out in every direction and it moves as a solid piece. Like this lady. And see, everyone else is moving around. She tries not to move at all because it shows how much the hair, how hard it is, right? That's why they try to keep very still, the women do.
Is this a hoax? Are you really in space still?
That proved it right there. See it? It sticks straight up. That proves it. That proves it's that she's in space. Here we have some design fails. One of my favorites, Don Pettit.
So my question is, how can you operate a lid on the outside of the space station by manipulating something mechanical on the inside of the space station without losing air pressure?
It's called real good engineering. Corvette 90.
All right, on to miscellaneous fails. This is blooper number 62. And this is supposedly footage from 2012, a supermoon. And first off, the moon changes direction several times if you watch it. But does that look real to you? And we're told that, we can't see stars in space because of whitewashing. But here we have, they can't make up their minds. We see stars in space. So this is passed off as real footage of the moon, which, if that looks real to you, there's nothing I can say. And I'm just going to let Jaron run with this one.
Let me lay it out for you. You've got Tim Peake on the ISS, ready to do a live interview with this studio audience, and you've got this girl with a hoop and a ball, and she supposedly sent this experiment for Tim to do while on the ISS. Well, Tim did it on the ISS. He did it in front of a blue checkered screen and refused to do it live.
Now, Tim, you've also been doing some demonstrations for science students, and one of those science students is Emily. Now, you've got some kit there that you actually designed for Tim, really to just show how difficult it is to demonstrate physics here on Earth. It's a track and a ball. Just shows what actually happens there. And gravity is really just pulling that ball back down. Now, Tim has actually done the same experiment. You weren't able to do it live, but you weren't able to do it live, but you weren't able to do it live, you weren't able to do it live, you weren't able to do it live. We don't seem to have a video, unfortunately, but the ball the ball does continue all the way around. Just explain, Tim, what's happening.
I'd rather Tim explain why he couldn't do it live. Is it that hard to bring out the little hoop and ball? Or is it because the blue checkered backdrop allows them to basically CGI that apparatus into his hand? And that's why he's standing so still.
Yeah, but again, it's one of the phenomena of microgravity. It's a wonderful environment to demonstrate some of those basic scientific principles.
That is true. It's such a wonderful environment to demonstrate some of those basic principles.
All right, moving on to transmission fails with blooper number 64.
Who's excited? First live 4K transmission from space ever. Let's get right to it. Johnson Space Center, can you do the audio check?
That was a 25-second delay I shortened.
Yes, we're ready for the event.
Okay, here we go. Hello, Commander Fisher and Commander Whitsitt and Colonel Fisher. It is an honor for all of us and those online to join you and all of your colleagues at NASA in the first ever live 4K stream from space. What is the ISS position in orbit right now?
Well, we're just passing over Baja, California, and we're heading in an arc over North America. By the time we finish talking, we'll be over Central Africa.
Wow. Amazing.
Did you catch it? So Jack Fisher, now, I just want to make this clear for anyone who's watching didn't understand the problem there. What I sped up, where you see it goes 6x every time between when he says something and Peggy replies, at least 11 to 20 seconds transpire. And I shortened those down to a few seconds. But when Peggy's responding, in the audience, they all go, woo, and Jack Fisher does it with them, right? He hears, like, it's not something you would do next to a lady who says something and there's no response. You don't know people are gonna woo, woo, right? Well, he just joined in the crowd. So feel free to rewind if that didn't make sense to you. Maybe the second time around, it'll make more sense. This is, I can't remember if it was, I think it was 2015, but you know, again, there's the link. This is a famous million miles away, the moon transiting the Earth. And there's a couple things wrong with this. Number one, if you zoom in, there's remnants of green screen, right? Like, why is this there? Why is there green here? Like, that should be a clear sign to you. Number two, we're told that the moon rotates as it goes around the Earth, right? With this Helios nonsensical model. But there's no sign of rotation. It looks like just a two-dimensional object that slides across the screen. But the other problem is, you know, we call it the dark side of the moon, not because it's dark, because we never see it, right? We only see 50% of the moon. But here, the whole Earth was lit up, right? It was lit up by the sun, and it's daylight here, so the moon should be lit up. The moon at night looks like this, you know, sometimes brighter, sometimes it's even brighter than this. But this is what we get for the dark side, for the back side of the moon, right? It should be well illuminated. Moving on to blooper number 66, watch the guy coming in the middle, his eye, you can see through his face. Obviously, obvious CGI fail. And this one, I could have broke into 6 or 7. His hand glitches out, his face glitches out, arm glitches out.
Express our thanks to the team that made this.
Her face glitches out.
We Crew 4 launched on.
All right, more Tim Peake. Some guy joins the screen. He glitches out. And Karen Nyberg, her hand glitches out. More Karen Nyberg. She's playing with this augmented reality, I don't know, paper mache thing. And it glitches out. And more Karen Nyberg playing with a water packet, and the water packet glitches out. And up to blooper number 72, actor Alexander Gerst from Germany. You can see his mouth glitches out and the mic glitches out. All this glitches out. I don't know who this guy is, but his hand glitches out. And here we have his hand glitches out again, as does the augmented reality bag of beans or whatever it is. And blooper number 76 with Alexander Gerst again. And there he goes. And you see green, like see the green right here? That's because this is layering with green screen. Alexander Gerst again, watch his hand. Obviously you can't miss it, but he has 3 arms right now. Don't know who this guy is, but he's having issues with his microphone. Same issues for Samantha Cristoforetti. And we have Thomas Pasquette. Now, here's the thing, watch this, because take the size of that ball, like let's maybe say it's 1.5 to 2 feet across, easily 1.5, maybe 2 feet. But put out your arm and then imagine that ball, right? It's gonna come, it's only gonna be a foot away from your chest. The end of, I mean, think of it, look where he grabs. He grabs the middle of the ball and look at the size of that ball right now. And he rolls it toward himself. And watch how far it travels and how small it gets. It's as if it traveled 10 feet. Watch, he rolls it and look at this. It keeps coming, keeps coming, keeps coming. Smaller, 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 smaller. How far did that thing travel, right? I mean, it's only arguably less than a foot. So obvious augmented reality. And here he is. If you locate this video, I found it on Bling Bling BS of the ISS. His fingers don't touch the ball, and also these dots, these remnants here of augmented reality, right? This is in the original video. And this is a great one because he's doing an interview in French, but it's being translated as well. And this is right on NASA's website. This is not this. You can go there and watch the original, which is where I pulled this from. And a caller calls in and asks him if he's on wires, and he laughs it off and then glitches out.
As far as some people believe that you're not really in space; you're just tranquilly in some sort of a hidden space on Earth. How do we prove to people that you are 500 kilometers above me? How do Parisians get convinced of that? So you have a wire on your back? I beg your pardon? I didn't understand.
Vous avez un fil dans le dos qui vous permet de flotter, non?
You have a wire or cable on the back that helps you float.
And then he glitches out. And notice there's no delay now. Sometimes there's a delay. If you're singing with Bare Naked Ladies, there's no delay. If you're doing French interviews, there's no delay. Sometimes there's 11-second delays. Sometimes there's 20-second delays. It just really depends. And this is, and just very obviously they're using augmented reality. There's no plush toy, then there's a plush toy, then she interacts with the plush toy, right? Samantha Cristoforetti. And here we have Peggy Whitson and Jack Fisher, and he's just been snipped, flipped, and clocked, right? And you can see the layer glitching out. And moving on to Chris Hadfield. His whole body just vanishes momentarily. How does it know what's behind him, right? How does it, now you can say it, how does it know that that's behind him, right? That's not artifacting. That's a green screen and layering is what that is. And more Chris Hadfield, the guy who's given us more gems than anyone on the ISS. He gets stabbed in the neck right here. And what's going on, if you ask me, these two may be side by side where they're filming, but many times they're all filmed separately. Chris is filmed right side up, and then he's just flipped upside down. And you can just, when you're layering with your program, you place this arm in front of Chris Hadfield. So the shadows don't even look right on these people. Nothing looks right. They just tell them the general direction to look in, and it's very confusing to the brain. And here we have Jessica Watkins on the right. I don't know who this guy is, but the cord goes invisible multiple times. Moving on to this guy's head gets chopped off as he's coming into the scene. Watch the top of his head as it passes that black. All right, on to blooper 88. Tim Peake puts his hand under the other hand, which is tightly holding an object, right? It's holding like a pen, and then he sticks his fingers without opening his hand. He just... And Scott Kelly. His hand glitches out. And more Scott Kelly. Watch his eyes and watch the look. It's down here now, and then sometimes the ball will be down here, and he'll be looking up there. Watch. He doesn't notice that. Watch. He looks up. That's because the ball's not there. I don't know if his augmented reality messed up or what. But here we have actor Paolo Nespoli. And you can clearly see that his arm is going invisible. So this is an older video. We didn't have the resolution we had then, so the green screen was blurrier, less accurate. And we get this. We get background objects penetrating the arm. And moving on to blooper 91, more Paolo Nespoli from the same video, but just there's a treasure trove in here of bloopers. And his whole elbow just goes from transparent to solid, transparent to solid. All right, moving on. More Paolo Nespoli, and watch his thumb. Just cuts in and out. Sometimes you can see the A through his thumb, sometimes you can't. All right, moving on to blooper 93. Watch his right arm, the arm on the left, his right arm. And you'll see the forearm cuts out and his bicep cuts out. You see his bicep going invisible here, and you see his forearm there going invisible. And watch the bicep here, it just disappears. Yeah, very obvious overlay issues. All right, moving on to blooper number 94. And this is more, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's see. I think I missed one. Maybe not. 95, I did. What happened to 94? It won't play. What's going on here? Let me see if I can play it over here. Oh. We lost 94. I don't know what happened. Blooper number 95. Watch this guy's arms. And moving on to number 96, Samantha Cristoforetti. Her hands just glitch out. And moving on to blooper number 97, the microphone and her hand kind of glitch out. And you'll see that when she releases the microphone, the graphics change, right? Go back and look at it if you need to, but it has one graphic and then she releases her hand and the graphic changes. You can see it in this one as well. And you see the microphone jump over as well. All right, so looking at number 99, watch her finger. It just pops up out of nowhere. And moving on to blooper number 100, this guy's shirt just goes invisible, not invisible, invisible, not invisible. Look at his stomach, just, you know, disappearing. And more of the same guy. I think his hand and mouth glitch out. Yeah. And here we have the disappearing water ball. And it's absolutely in the original. Go look it up. I went there and verified, found it. And that's what happens. You can do that right on YouTube. You can slow it down to whatever speed, the slowest speed, and you can frame it and you can see it disappear. Here we have Don Pettit. And the coffee is just going to jump outside of this little famous invention, his masterpiece invention. Which brings us to this clip.
Wait, I have a stunt cup right here.
Oh, yeah. A standard cup like this does not work in a weightless environment. It requires gravity to hold the fluid in the bottom of the cup, and it requires gravity to allow the fluid to flow out when you want to take a sip.
So a standard cup won't work in space, right? Which brings us to the Chinese Space Agency, and this is the some what they call taikonauts, and they have this jar of water sitting on a table, and the water is level with the table. Now, how does that happen? Because you had to take this water from somewhere, and then you had to place it on the table, and it would have had movement. And what would have made it sit flat? Why wouldn't it be at an angle? Why wouldn't it be, you know, why is it level with the table? So it makes no sense. It would not be sitting there. So I personally believe this is augmented reality. And from that same video just clipped, the guy who is there's a guy who speaks English, and this is official Chinese television. This is this channel. It's operated by the Chinese government. CGTN, millions of subscribers. Go check it out and listen what he says. And this is at the end of that Taikonauts flat water video.
I got you.
He says, "I got you," in kind of a smirky sounding voice. And this is also from the Chinese Space Agency. They forgot to turn on the curve, right? China's Shenzhou 14 astronauts complete their second spacewalk over a perfectly flat Earth. Let's moving on to SpaceX. And the entire Earth glitches out, both under the tires, through the tires. How does that happen? How can you explain this? And it's either layering or it's a car in front of a huge monitor. But either way, the screen in the background glitched out. And I didn't bother looking for the source of this. This is all over YouTube. I probably should have put it in there, but it's everywhere. And as if this wasn't bad enough, they had multiple angles going. And you caught it from this angle as well. Watch supposed ball Earth glitch out. So from both angles. And you can find this right on SpaceX's YouTube channel.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly.
It does look fake. I agree with you. Blue Origin. And watch the rocket, the CGI rocket. Did you see it?
Oh yeah, look
Feel
at her
free to
go.
feel free to rewind it. It just glitched out. And that was 109. I think one of them messed up. I'm not sure what happened with that. But in closing, I'd like to say thank you to everyone in the Flat Earth community who contributed these gems. I take no credit for the discovery of any of these. I merely consolidated them. I try to give credit to the description to everyone who contributed. I could have made this video 1,000 space bloopers. It was just for the sake of time that I didn't. Feel free to share and re-upload this video anywhere you'd like to. And some of the people that I like to follow, these are my favorite channels. There's probably a few I left off. Feel free to visit their channels. And that's all I have for you today. Until next time, take care.